To me, style, I guess, is about being open to different influences and being curious and taking things from different worlds and put them together. You create tension and you create something exciting. My name is Frank Muytjens. I used to be a menswear fashion designer. Recently I made a career change and now I'm the owner of a beautiful country bed and breakfast here in Richmond, Massachusetts. There's so many similarities. To me, menswear was always about updating classics and tweaking them so you make them relevant again. And I had the same feeling with this house. When we started out on this project, it was very important to us that the house needed to feel comfortable and lived in. It needed a lot of work. As you can tell, all the architectural details, all the woodwork was original to the house, and we wanted to do as much as we could ourselves, so we started to scrape wallpaper. The most beautiful centuries-old plaster became visible, and we painted all the rooms ourselves. Yeah, it started to take shape. When I was in the fashion industry, I had so many other passions like cooking and gardening and interior decoration and photography, and all that comes into play now within these four walls, and hopefully other people can enjoy it now as well. I worked in the fashion industry in Amsterdam for a number of years, and then I moved to New York in '94. New York has been very kind to me, and I was able to work on a career that I never thought was possible. You start to come to a point that you want to do something else, that you think about what the next step is going to be. So it was very important for us to bring things in from nature. Throughout the seasons we find so many little plants and brushes that are just amazing. So when we designed the rooms, it was very important to add lots of layering and to tell stories. For instance, this blanket is a patchwork blanket from Japan that I bought on one of my trips. I love that it tells a story and that so many generations of people used it, and now it ends up here for a number of years, and then hopefully it moves on to someone next who can enjoy it. So this is a mood board that I created for this house because I don't know any better. It's a certain masculine mood that we were after, you know, leather sofas, fireplaces, wood paneling. So these beautiful cotton linens that we ended up using on one of the sofas, actually it's this color, a beautiful warm camel. Yeah, and this color palette has always been with me. So one of my favorite painters is Wilhelm Hammershøi, and he painted all these beautiful domestic landscapes. I always wanted to be inspired by his paintings in my fashion career, but I was always a little too moody. But now, with the house, I can. Architecture was always a big inspiration. Artists like Edward Hopper, charcoal drawings that were an inspiration. Pierre Chareau's La Maison de Verre, very industrial looking. Jean Prouvé, the same thing. And nature has always been very important. So when I was in college, it was in the early 80s, and all these magazines from London started to become available in Holland, like The Face and later on Arena and ID. They were my Bibles. A lot of other things I parted with, but those magazines needed to come with me. But the house has an illustrious history. In the mid-1800s, it was run as an art school. Later, in the early 60s, the house always had a strong relationship with Tanglewood, so Leonard Bernstein stayed here in the guest cottage for a couple of years. It was very loose and bohemian. To me, switching from fashion to being an innkeeper was just a natural progression. In my fashion career, when I was working on concepts, it was always more about architecture and interior design than anything else. And that spot in the house now, between those bookcases and all the books on the table, that's my favorite spot. Grab one of those books and I go through it and get inspired. This house it's been here for centuries. We're just the stewards of it now. We're passing through, and hopefully we make it ready for the next generation.